Sometimes students write conclusion which are not related to their finding, which are not related to the objectives. That is not correct. Please make note that conclusion should be always linked to your objectives. That means I had objective to compare the diclofenac with another back pain. Now, another physiotherapy technique. Now, in the conclusion, I should write for the first objective, what was my major finding? That became my first part of conclusion. I had my second objective. What was my major conclusion for the second objective? That became the second part of my conclusion. So if I have got, please make note, if I have got 5 objectives, my conclusion should have a connection between these 5 objectives that is being mentioned. Not necessarily you should have 5 separate paragraphs, but at least when I see this conclusion and I see the objective, there should be a direct line of connection between the objectives and the conclusion. That's why I mentioned here the conclusion should be linked to the objectives. Each objective should have a link with the conclusion. So this is the scientific way of writing the conclusion. So if you understand clearly how to write the conclusion, so what you will do, you will go back to your objectives, and each objective I will write 1 or 2 of my findings, and that makes it clear for me to write my conclusion. I hope there is no any confusion. And references, after you write the conclusion, see, I have done my covering letter, I have done my title page, I have done my abstract, I have done my keywords, then I have done my introduction, then objective, then my methods, my results, my discussion, my limitation, and my conclusion. After that, what I'm going to do is the referencing. Reference is sometimes little difficult for the students. So students normally, they get irritated with writing the reference. Why so many references? Vancouver style, Harvard style, APA style. But please remember, each style has got its unique advantage, right? Vancouver style, you write 1 to the author number, and there's a way of writing because these styles are linked with some of the software. Sometimes some people are performing meta-analysis and so on. So every style has got its own purpose. When a journal decide to choose APA style, Harvard style, Vancouver style, or some journal has got their own style, there's a purpose behind it, okay? Nowadays, many journal ask you to mention the DOI. DOI means digital object identifier. If you look into the references, in the side you will write DOI, HTTPS .10110, like that, something, some web link is given. DOI means this is very specific for each document, digital object identifier. So maybe you have to learn how to use and where to get the DOI for the articles, then web links. And it's very important you learn how to cite the websites. Sometimes some information I took from newspaper articles, something I took from journal, sometime I took from online journal, sometime I put from the government, the ministry website, from the WHO website, from the UNICEF website. How to cite this, I should know that. And the validity of the references. Sometimes the student says that the second reference, when I go to the reference, is talk about back pain, but I go back to the reference and I read that article, it doesn't talk about back pain. It talks about something else. That means the reference is not valid. So my sincere request to all the students is that when you write a thesis report or when you write a manuscript to a journal, that you have 35 references. At the end, go through all the 35 references and see that what information you have mentioned in your report, in your manuscript, and the reference content are matching. Otherwise, sometimes by making a lot of changes, you might have forgotten. There is a simple approach to make this reference using the software. I'm sure some of you would be already knowing that it is the endnote.com. You can I put already the web link here, so you can go through that endnote.com, and there are some versions that may be freely available. And if you use the endnote, you need not worry about the reference. When you write it, just you copy and put the link, and the software will convert. You click Vancouver, it change all the references in Vancouver style. You click Harvard style, then the EndNote software will change all your reference, so that you need not waste lot of your time in making the reference. And the Scholar Google, which I mentioned you, Scholar Google also have got an option to give the citations. Okay, let us quickly see how we can use Scholar Google program to give the references. I hope all of you are able to see the screen now. I've just opened Scholar Google. I request all of you not to use google.com. Rather than that, use scholar.google.com. So you will get only articles. Let me see now. I search article, let us say back pain treatment. Okay. Now I got some article. Okay. Diagnosis and treatment of low back pain. Okay. This is my first article. Okay, which I decide to cite it. It's very simple. If you can see it, I'll try to make the screen slightly bigger. Okay, you can see here, diagnosis and treatment of low back pain. It's very simple for me to get the reference. What I do, there's a star. After that, there is a logo like this. I just click it here. This will give me now the reference. You see here. Now you see, Scholar Google already gave me the reference. If you're using MLS style, APS style, Chicago style, Harvard style, Vancouver style, and I want Harvard, I just copy and paste it in my reference list. So I need not go and type the reference, KOSES dot, full stop, comma, full stop, this, no. So I just, whatever the title I want to put, I see, for example, behavior treatment for low back pain. I have an article, I want to cite this. So my article title, I just put in the Scholar Google and it shows me like this, and whichever style I want, I just copy and paste. But please remember, sometimes there could be, rarely, very, very rarely, there could be some minor mistake. Maybe, some volume is missing, maybe the page number is missing and so on in the Scholar Google. In that case, you will manually do it going through the journal. So it's always better you use EndNote. If you don't have access to EndNote, you can always use Scholar Google. But when Scholar Google and get your citations like this, you see here, you can get it whichever format you want. These are the most commonly used format, and you can copy and paste the references, but you please just check whether it is appropriate or not. 99% it is appropriate. Okay, so this is regarding citation. The references, many times students have problem in writing the reference properly. You say that, what is the importance of this full stop and this comma? No, it's scientific writing. We are talking about a scientific society, and we are talking about a scientific activity, and these things should be mentioned nicely, and even a full stop, even a comma in writing the reference and the manuscript have got a lot of value. Because people will consider that even if you cannot write a full stop and comma proper, then how are you going to conduct a research? That is how the researchers, the scholars will be thinking. So when you do a research, it is always anticipated that you learn the process of writing these references, these are all part of a discipline. Like how disciplined are you in making the report? How disciplined are you in making the references? This is going to reflect largely in deciding whether your manuscript will be accepted in a good journal or not. This is related to the references.